So I'm Heather Benjamin. I'm the communication person here at Family Health West. And I was just going to say welcome. Thank you for coming out to Fruita. We don't often get a lot of visitors unless they're coming to the hospital for care. So we appreciate you coming out today. And I will let these folks introduce themselves directly, but just say that we're here for Apprentice Week. And we have our lovely apprentice to highlight our relationship around this program between Family Health West and CMU Tech, which we love. So we'll highlight all of those points and then be available for individual interviews afterwards if you guys want that, and B-roll and things like that. So Mindy, do you want to kick it off?
Of course.
Okay.
I'm Mindy Gutierrez, and I am the apprenticeship coordinator at CMU Tech.
I'm Dr. Corey Klein. I'm the president and CEO of Family Health West.
I'm Brianna Sunderman, the Vice President for Technical Education and Workforce Development at CMU Tech.
My name is Vanessa Cordero. I am an apprenticeship here in Family Health West. I go to CMU Tech.
Okay. Do we want them to give a little history of the program?
I think you can start with Dr. Klein.
Okay.
Maybe, on your guys' side and how it's came to be in the Opportunity Now grant. I think makes sense.
Sure. So at Family Health West, coming out of COVID, we were having the same struggles that a lot of businesses were having with workforce and trying to overcome the challenges. And at one point, we were sitting around a table saying, how did we used to get people to come work in some of our difficult to fill jobs in the past? And they said, well, we trained our own. And that inspired a whole series of events where we decided that we would instead of recruiting outside of our organization, maybe we'd consider recruiting inside our organization. And that blossomed to some conversations then with how do we do that? Well, we have to partner with training programs to help interested employees and interested community members come into the positions that we needed inside our hospital. And that developed into an opportunity to apply for a grant through the state of Colorado's Office of Economic Development for these grant funds called Opportunity Now. And we were fortunate enough to partner with CMU Tech to get these Opportunity Now grant funds, and that enabled us to start a whole host of programs that were really focused on taking students at CMU Tech and figuring out a way we could give them real life experiences inside our hospital and hopefully prepare them for the job force. And then selfishly, we hope they come work for Family Health West. But even if they didn't, it helped the workforce in Mesa County by preparing students to be the next generation of workforce inside our hospital. So that's really where it came from. And I would say that even before we received the first grant dollar, just the relationship that was created already created connections and ideas and ways that we could bring students into our healthcare system to do that. The last thing I really think is cool about it too is that we didn't just think about doctors and nurses. We really said, we provide a lot of different skills inside a hospital. And that's why I think it's really cool that some of our apprentices are actually in our culinary department and in our IT department and our medical assistants as well. So I think that that's part of the cool part too, is it's not just necessarily healthcare preparation.
Yeah, Corey, I think the partnerships, like with Family Health West, have a transformative impact on the local workforce development. And one of the first meetings you and I had, what really impressed me is that Corey wanted to grow a family. So if someone was a chef and wanted to then maybe move into medical assistant, he wanted to be able to do that for them. And through this partnership, I think it's already on a great start. By aligning these apprenticeship programs with the specific needs of the community, CMU Tech ensures that graduates are not only skilled, but also in demand in the local job market. These collaborations help fill critical roles while fostering economic growth in the region. So the program's IT, culinary arts, and medical assistance apprenticeship programs provide participants with a unique opportunity to combine the on-the-job training with their formal education. In the last couple months, we've, along with this grant that Corey got, we're able to secure 3 more workforce partners, and we have 6 apprentices. The programs immerse apprentices in real-world employment settings, enabling them to gain practical experience. Students like Danessa Cordero in our apprenticeship programs have greatly benefited from the supportive services provided through Family Health West grant. This funding has been instrumental in removing financial barriers. It's allowed for transportation, housing, tuition, and I think it shows that this removing these barriers has really allowed students to focus on their training and work instead of some of the things that might normally hold us back. Danessa?
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today to share my experience as an IT apprentice at Family Health West and how my education at CMU Tech has helped me shape my path along the way. The journey from the classroom to the workplace has been an exciting one, filled with both challenges and opportunities. And I've been fortunate to experience the best of both worlds. CMU Tech gave me the technical tools, but Family Health West gave me the context to understand the broader picture of IT. They've allowed me to grow, learn, and gain confidence in my abilities. I'm excited to continue building on this foundation as I move forward in my career. In closing, I want to thank both CMU Tech and Family Health West for being such an essential part of my journey. At CMU Tech, I was given the academic tools to succeed, and at Family Health West, I had the opportunity to apply those skills in a meaningful and impactful way. I am deeply grateful for the mentorships, guidances, and opportunities I've received from both institutions. Thank you.
I wanted to say thank you for joining us today in celebrating National Apprenticeship Week. We have made great progress, and it's exciting to see what we've achieved together in our partnership. I touch base with the apprentices bi-weekly, and they have amazing things to say about the organization and the mentorship that they're receiving within the program. We're not stopping here. We are also including the automotive trades, electric trades, HVAC, and we're also going to provide a 100% MA program that is online with the clinicals that are going to be done in our mobile learning lab. So we would bring the mobile learning lab to the locations or facilities that would need it. So the apprentices will not need to take off of work, so they can work a full 40 hours week. It's really important that we support our adult learners and the students that need to seek employment for 40 hours. We keep building on what we've started, moving forward together, and thank you for being a part of the celebration this week.
Thank you, guys. Is there any specific questions that the reporters have?
Sure. So how long has the apprenticeship program been going on, and how long have you been a part of the program?
I started in September fully to be a part of the apprenticeship program here.
And how long will you go?
I think it's a 1-year
Program.
So
She will be graduating with her related instruction in May. So she'll be will be done with her related instruction in May, and then continue to do her on-the-job learning throughout August, I believe.
Okay.
And the apprenticeship program just started in September.
Oh, I see. Okay. What's the program that you're part of? I read in the press release that it was IT. Is that correct?
yes.
What exactly do you do in the IT space?
I do a lot of on hands, like remote. I do hardware installations, and I can also remote into customers or people that we have around the hospital's computer just to figure out their problems.
When you started the IT apprenticeship program, did you have any idea how important IT was to healthcare?
No, not that much. Not that much. I thought it was just going to be really relaxed, but I feel like there's always something to do when I first get clocked in. So there's a lot of lists. I have a whole list of things to get done.
I have a question for Dr. Klein and perhaps VP Sunderman. You can touch on this too. But I think Danessa's kind of at the foundation level of building her career. What were some folks that kind of influenced you in maybe an apprenticeship style that kind of leads you to want to embrace and support these types of programs?
I think for me, there's two components. There is a lot of younger students who don't have a lot of work history. And so there's a real advantage to be gained to have a little bit of work history going out into the workforce when they graduate. And an apprenticeship program allows that. In fact, that's how I went through college, is that I did an internship for my business degree. And it allowed me to get some real world experience while still being, having an advisor in the school and still having some of that. The other thing that Brigitta and I noticed was that most of the time the reason that someone didn't advance in their career is because there was a stumbling block in the way. And it might be that they had some college but hadn't finished their degree. It might be that they have financial challenges or transportation challenges, or even some just real functional challenges of trying to work with their family and their family dynamics and needs and still be able to attend class. And one of the reasons why I think the CMU Tech partnership was so important is because we could talk about that and say, hey, we have this opportunity now where maybe we could provide some barrier relief by creating a program where we could provide some support to students that did need those things. Not everybody does, but for the few that do have transportation issues or availability issues and things like that, if we could overcome the barrier, we sort of made it our goal to try, at least. And I think that that's really important because as we were starting this program and we were moving people through the system, we were learning that there was things holding people back that we were overcoming, and that was really exciting to me.
VP Sunderman, could you touch on that as well?
I think whether it's a formal apprenticeship program or it's kind of a grassroots program, when you have the ability to work in the field that you want to go into, you're more likely to stay in classes. At least you have some context of it's not just a skill. Like Danessa touched on it. Now she's in a family and a healthcare facility, and she realizes how important IT really is. And so when you're doing those skills, it's not just about the skill A, B, or C that you're trying to figure out, but you know that you're actually helping people along the way. And I think it makes it more valuable. I think students stay in the program. And all in all, when you come out of school, now you also have experience, which is what everybody's looking for. So it hits all the boxes. Right?
If I could ask one more follow-up, Dr. Klein, if maybe you can touch on it, is, going back to what you said when you asked Danessa about, did you think IT played such a big role in the healthcare system? She didn't. I think oftentimes when you think of a hospital, you think doctors, or you think X-ray technicians, folks that do go to school for, a decade or more to become qualified. Can you talk about the aspect of these technical programs, the technical support that allows a place like Family Health West to operate, and why it's valuable to support programs, to support places like CMU Tech that really is trying to elevate the trades? Because there's a significance there throughout a lot of industries, but from what it sounds like in healthcare in particular.
Yeah, I sometimes I don't think people realize how many jobs happen in healthcare that aren't directly related to the patient. So most people, if they've been to a doctor's office, kind of understand that the doctor is there and then the people that support the person is there, but not a lot of times do they know how many other people are working in the background. From the moment you come in, how insurance interacts, how information technology interacts in our hospital, how food and how important food interacts with the care and well-being of the patient. It is really quite amazing sometimes. There's far more people working in the hospital that aren't delivering direct care to the patient, but are still critical pieces to the puzzle. For example, I sometimes I hear, well, I only work in the culinary department, or I only work in environmental services, and I say, only. Environmental services is one of our most important infection control barriers in a hospital. That's a critical piece for a patient to heal, to not get an infection. For IT, I can tell you how important IT is, because it's when it's down, you would think that the building was gonna fall over, because almost every person in this building uses IT to do their job. And so it becomes a really important piece of the critical infrastructure. I've said in the culinary apprentice program, think about a hospital in terms of food. We have to accommodate every dietary restriction, every texture, every nutritional need, and that you can possibly comprehend 24 hours a day, 3 times a day, no matter what, we can supply it. And that's an enormous skill that can be learned to try to accommodate somebody who can't chew or can't swallow solid foods, or needs a certain ingredient missing or absent from their cooking because of an allergy or some other restriction. I think that's an amazing opportunity then for someone to learn. And those jobs are amazingly important inside our organization.
Great, thank you for sharing.
Brigitte, could you touch on, what the apprenticeship program does? Is it really supports the needed workforce in the Grand Valley? So aside from IT, medical assistant, and culinary, we have 20 plus apprenticeships going on within the Valley for ECE.
Right, so we also have the early, and generally Mindy's way better about talking about this than I am, but through the early childhood apprenticeship programs, I think what you're seeing and what's really helpful to the employers is that they're getting employees today. They don't have to wait a year or 2 years until they have their entire education under their belt before they can move into that employee spot. And I think that's what's been really beneficial with partners, and it gives them a chance to really experience if they want to do that or not. I think that's a positive too. Maybe if you're in early childhood and you spend 8 hours listening to children screaming, this would be a good time to leave if that's not your thing, right? But I think one of the really unique things about Family Health West is if you want to be a chef or work in IT or medical assistance is pretty obvious, but some of these others people don't always think about. And so they're thinking, oh, that means I have to work in a restaurant. And this allows the whole community to understand that those skills really go across the board in the Valley.
Now, Mindy, do you want to touch on just the various industries, because there are so many opportunities out there?
Yes. We started with the ECE program in November 2022, and that just blossomed. We had 3 different counties. I believe our model works because of the supportive services that we are able to offer the apprentices, and I also believe that it's a successful program because we are creating pipelines within the industries. It's not just early childhood. For example, one of our early childhood apprentices was able to open up her own childcare. So we're creating businesses, we're creating childcare for the workforce out there that needs childcare. And in Gunnison, we have a gal that is going to be the director of a childcare center, and she started with entry-level knowledge. We were able to support them. All of our apprentices have received all of their tuition support, and as well with transportation services. We've gone and delivered food boxes. We've tried to break down every barrier that we see is happening, so they can be successful. And what we've seen a trend of is that they're going into new positions within their workforce, or even opening up their own childcare centers, which is pretty amazing. So it has a positive impact in the workforce.
And Mindy, I don't know if you covered it, but Mindy's amazing, and so she's also broke down the barrier of language, and so she created some bilingual classes as well.
So we have we partnered with over 20 workforce partners with early childhood, and one of the biggest workforce barriers that we were hearing is language barriers, and it was all in 3 different counties that we were hearing this. So what we did is we translated our first certificate. It's fully translated and available online. So anyone can take that first industry credential. And then we went above and beyond, and then we went into a CDA, which is a national certification for the early childhood also. And we started teaching that also bilingual with Spanish support. So we have a lot of people in our early childhood apprenticeship program, and I hope that we were able to support a lot of the English language learners. And I believe 3 of the apprentices you have are bilingual as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a huge benefit in medical healthcare as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At any level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, meeting patients where they're at is incredibly important. So being able to support and foster a program where those people that have that skill can then enter the workforce and apply that skill is amazingly valuable. I was also going to add too, I think one of the great things about partnering with a local institution for education and a local business for the apprentice program allows the education to happen inside our communities, and that then hopefully breeds workforce inside our communities. And I think that's really important over here in Western Colorado, that if we can keep the education and the training local, then the odds are that the workforce stays local as well. And so hopefully that's benefiting every county, not just Family Health West, that taking the local workforce and developing the local workforce keeps the workforce local. And I think that's important.
I also wanted to add that we received feedback of the adult learners wanting to get into the either apprenticeship program or an MA program, but they did not want to compromise the hours that they were working. So that's when we talked to Brigitta, and she says, sure, let's do this. Let's take the mobile learning lab for the clinicals. That is a component that we were not able to make that online, so we will be taking the mobile learning lab to those locations, and those maybe a CNA or somebody that's interested in going from Culinary to an MA position would be able to make that happen, right? So they can do coursework online, and then the clinicals would be at a mobile learning lab.
And the MA is the medical assistant.
Yes.
And Dr. Klein, briefly, what does that do, like in a clinic setting? What is an MA?
So a medical assistant assists the provider inside the doctor's office with helping prepare and take care of the patient during a medical encounter. So it's often the second person you meet. You're usually met by a registration or a front office specialist. And then the next person you're greeted with usually is the medical assistant. And so it's a very important part of the medical practice. Those are often the people that patients get to know almost better than the doctor in some cases, because they're the person they interface with the most. And then the doctor finds them indispensable as well, because they help keep the clinic flowing and keep the next patient ready, and then also providing some very needed healthcare, including immunizations and vital signs and some other things that they can assist the doctor with to help the patient stay healthier.
Could I ask what inspired you to get into IT?
Just a lot of incidents when I was growing up, especially being the generation that knows most about technology. I feel like I was helping a bunch of my family members with their phones, their tablets, their computers.
Do you feel like the training at the apprenticeship has helped you gain the knowledge that you need to help out your family members ultimately? At the end of the day?
I feel like being here helps me navigate through situations a lot more better, have myself, just more knowledge.
Sounds good.
Vanessa, what's been the benefit from taking something you learned in class Wednesday morning and then applying that Wednesday afternoon when you get into your apprenticeship? What kind of benefits have you found for your growth as an IT professional?
I've had a lot of incidents where I've learned something that day, and then when I clock in, I start doing the same exact thing, especially with taking desktops apart. I did that in a lesson, and I came to work and they had me take it apart. So it's just like a mental game. Like, it's helping me memorize what is what and where it goes and how it fits in.
Yeah, for sure.
It gives you context.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you though. Have you been able to then share your education with others in the department? Has it gone both ways? Have you been able to take something you've learned and shared it with a coworker or a peer? Because that's really important to be teams.
Like the ticketing system here at Family Health West, it's really similar of how they teach you in class. So me and my professor, we got together, and his slides were a little outdated, so I was confused. So I went up and I asked him, I'm like, our ticketing system shows us this, this, and this. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, usually it's like that. It's just my slides are outdated. I'm like, oh. He's like, but I'm going to fix that. So I was like, okay.
I wonder if, and maybe we can start with you, if each of you can touch on what the future looks like with this apprenticeship program and what kind of growth we can hope for, and maybe what it'll do for CMU Tech, but also for businesses and organizations like Family Health West. Maybe you can start.
So we hope to expand, and we hope to continue our partnership with Family Health West. In just a short period of time, we're already at 6 apprentices and supporting them across Grand Junction with different organizations as well. I hope to probably reach to 20. That's my goal for this year, by probably April or May. And when we say that, it's probably going to be growing the MA program, IT, and Culinary. Our ECE is in a steady incline of growing. There's a huge growth here in the Valley of new childcare centers and the need of childcare centers. So also including new occupations within the industries like HVAC, which we could probably partner here as well. HVAC, and then the electric industries and diesel mechanics would be our next ones.
Yeah, I think for the future for us, I hope we can continue the program, and I agree, I hope we can continue to grow it in other areas. For example, the business side of medicine is a very big part of medicine. It'd be great to be able to figure out how to introduce some of the business students into our department. But I think really the goal for us is, I think the students help with burnout. I think that they add fresh faces to our staff. I actually think they can teach us a little something as we teach them a little something as well. But really, I think the ultimate goal is to make sure that our future workforce has the skills that they need and are introduced into the pipeline seamlessly. That decreases the cost of hiring for us and the cost of education for them, and keeps us fully employed. And so I really think that it's a give and take that would build a lasting employment pipeline for the community, not just for us, but for any other programs that these apprenticeships might serve in the future. Like you said, but even if they don't continue in healthcare, a lot of them are building skills, employment skills, and technical skills that can be taken to any job.
Yeah, I think it's always a growth mindset. So this is a win-win-win. The students are winning, the employers are winning, that means the community's winning. And when you have I lost my train of thought. But when you have the students that are coming through the apprenticeship program, Mindy talked about diesel, HVAC, and electrician. We're doing those next because that's what's been asked. So my feedback is, please ask us for more. We would love to do more. We won't do it unless we know there's a demand. And we can only know there's a demand through the employers asking us for additional programs or apprenticeships or anything they might need.
And Vanessa, I wonder for you if you could just talk about what you ultimately hope to gain as you continue through the apprenticeship, and then off into your career as you do great things in this world.
She hopes for a job, Bronson.
I do hope for a job. No. I just really hope that since I'm already in the field, I'm actively learning it also. I hope that once I get off of the job, I can start off where I left off instead of having to go back and retrain and learn all these different systems.
What would you tell other students that are thinking about doing an apprenticeship?
I would tell them to do it. They're really flexible with, the time. They're super considerate about, the time off that you need for, homework, or you need to go do a study group. And the school is really helpful too, just to accommodate your needs, like if you need more, money for transportation, for gas, for groceries and all that.